This is my first time attending a shareholder meeting with the actual intention of reporting on a shareholder meeting. And I got to tell you, sitting there with pen and paper and not applauding or anything because you're too busy writing, it's a whole new level of nerd, but a good level of nerd. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Lombardi Time Brews, where I'm your host, John Delray. Today, I'm going to go through the shareholder meeting. Today was that meeting, shareholder meeting 2023, which means officially this is the start of training camp week. First practice, of course, being on Wednesday and then Thursday and then Saturday this week. So don't mind me. Here I am on location at Lambeau Field to get the news out to you quicker about what happened at the shareholder meeting. So I'm going to dive right in. First, I'm going to cover the actual stuff that happens on the field, right? Like the player related news. And GM Brian Gutekunst is always the one to talk about that. So after he was introduced by Mark Murphy, he gets up there and basically what he does is he kind of goes position by position saying like, hey, we're good here. And like, we added this player here and these were our draft picks, that kind of thing. Very, very non-detailed, but if you do listen carefully, you can pull out a couple little nuggets. Really though, if you're looking for detail, like go check out the jersey number series that I did last week. It's significantly more detailed than what even Brian Gutekunst has to offer at this meeting. The most pertinent nugget, though, that I thought was really, really interesting happened to be the mention of Jaden Reed. When they talked about him as a draft pick, he wasn't just mentioned as a wide receiver, he was also mentioned as a return man. And I kind of think that that means that there is going to be a competition at punt return. Keyshawn Nixon obviously was all world at kick returner, but punt returner was a very different story. And I think the Packers, especially with him being amplified on defense more, may be looking for some competition there. Now, beyond that, not a ton else was talked about the actual guys on the field. Mark Murphy probably had the most notable thing besides that when he started talking about Aaron Rodgers. Yes, he did thank Aaron Rodgers for all of the years that he spent here in Green Bay. And when he did that, you could feel from the crowd of about 7,000 people this apprehension. This like, oh, we're going to talk about that guy? But he gone. I thought we were here to talk about the future. And there were even some like smatterings of booze mixed in and stuff. But Mark Murphy shut down all of those boos and quickly. He said, we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers, and then you heard a little bit of booze. And then he talked about how thankful we should be for Aaron's time in Green Bay for the great things that he did. And for the first time, he actually confirmed that not only will the Packers do a ceremony for him, things, but officially the Packers will be retiring his number when he formally retires. So it is newsworthy. Besides Aaron Rodgers, though, there were a number of different things that happened at this meeting. One, Leroy Butler, officially on the board of directors now. Yeah, isn't that cool? Board of directors normally is a bunch of like old rich people, different businessmen, different things throughout, influential in Green Bay, let's say. Well, Leroy Butler has now found himself on the board of directors after being nominated. Certainly a cool little noteworthy event. Also, of note, the Green Bay Packers happen to acquire Foam Nation Inc., or otherwise known as Cheesehead Inc. The Packers now formally own the Cheesehead. Yeah, up until this point, the Packers didn't actually own it. They just like bought them from the company that made them and then sold them to the pro shop and just kind of embodied it as theirs. But the Green Bay Packers never owned the Cheesehead. That now is different. They have bought out that company. The company that very first started in 1987. They are apparently moving on to retirement. So with that, not only did the Packers acquire, but there's now going to be more Cheesehead products, some new Cheesehead products coming to the pro shop soon, including, at the shareholder meeting, Cheesehead's emblazoned with owner across the back. This one, it's tiny. It's for my 3-year-old, who is an owner, but expect more things like this now that the Packers formally own the Cheesehead Company. Beyond that, though, look, folks, there's a ton of details at these meetings, and frankly, we don't need to know. It's one of those things. Basically, we can ask the question: is the team financially healthy or not? And in this case, last year financially was a down year for the team, but still they made a net of like $35 million profit. That's coming off of a season that had substantially more profit, but cash payouts were higher this year, partly because of Rodgers and other contracts. But in addition to that, too, the team's investment fund took a little bit of a hit. As we know, investments everywhere have been a little wishy-washy over the last stretch of time, so the Green Bay Packers are no different. One last note as well, just to cover quickly, the improvements to the stadium. If you were wondering, Lot 1 is now fully open. If you're one of the tailgaters that goes there, yes, by all means, go enjoy. It's now open. Beyond that, though, they doubled the size of their indoor football field inside Lambeau. Players now have underground parking. The new video boards are absurd. They're about double the width that they used to be, but not all that much taller. So I'm kind of curious to see how instant replays are going to look on it. Ratios may be a little weird, but yeah, looking at them, they are big and beautiful. Like, they are crystal clear. So other improvements to the stadium, there's more grab and go spots for concessions now, as well as more TVs in the concourse. That's it. I just took all like 2 hours of meeting and whittled it down to just a few minutes here for you. But that is truly what you need to know from the Packers shareholder meeting. Join me on Wednesday as well as every other training camp practice as we go through training camp season, because Wednesday I'm going to be doing something just like this. I'm going to be covering all of the topics that you told me last week that you want to hear about daily of what's going on at training camp. So, sure to join me on Wednesday. As always, go Pack Go.